Good evening, everybody. Welcome, whoever's joining us from various parts of India and the rest of the world. We'll wait for a couple of minutes for more of our teachers across the world to join us, and then we'll get started. I request all teachers that are joining us for this special webinar to please introduce themselves, say a nice hello, good evening to the rest of us, and let us know where we are from. Maybe the school and the location will be very useful for us to get a sense of participants from all over. So as I can see, we have quite a few locations already covered. We have Miss Ishpreet Kaur from Patiala, Punjab, Miss Janvi Avanant Kumar, who's a teacher at the Basil Woods Nature School in Bangalore, India. I can see a few teachers from Egypt. Good evening, actually, good afternoon, should I say, to all of you from Egypt and various parts of Africa. I can see Miss Rimjim Joshi from Indore, Madhya Pradesh. Good evening, Miss Ashima Bhatt from the Lawrence School, Sanawar. We have Miss Richa Agarwal from Shivnadar School, Noida. Hello, ma'am. Good evening. Lovely. I can see a few people joining from my home state of Bengal. Welcome, Mrs. Andrea Brooks from Loreto Day School, Sialda, Kolkata. Ms. Deepa Huja joins us from Ahmedabad. Mr. Shubhajyoti Das, again from DPS Jhansi, actually from West Bengal, as he's mentioned very kindly. We have our first few participants from Bangladesh. Welcome, Ms. Deepa Adhikari from Bangladesh. You can also see Hyderabad on the map now, and then also Ms. Famina from Lucknow CMS Chowk branch. I welcome our teachers from Ismailabad also today. Warm welcome to all our teachers from various other parts of the world, including Philippines and Nigeria. Good evening and good afternoon to you. Great. So officially, a very warm welcome to all our teachers who've joined us from various parts of India and the world. I'll quickly get into the agenda for the day. So CENTA was founded in 2015, as most of you know, with a singular mission in mind, which was to make teaching an aspirational profession. What started 10 years ago with one teacher in India has now blossomed into a global community of 1.6 million motivated teachers. And all of you who've joined us here are a very strong reflection of this strong community. Today, CENTA supports teachers like you across the professional development lifecycle, from certifying competencies to supporting continuous professional development and creating opportunities for your career growth, rewards, and recognition. Good evening, dear teachers, school leaders, and educators. My name is Rahul Chowdhary, and I head growth at CENTA. It has been a privilege serving all of you for the last 4 years. Today, as I said, is a special edition of this webinar. And I am joined today by a powerhouse trio, none other than the three founding members of the Center for Teacher Accreditation. Ramya Venkatraman, who is the founder and CEO, Priyanka Arya, who is the Chief Operating Officer and Director, and Karthik Menon, who is a Senior Product Manager here. All of you probably have rubbed shoulders online with either of or all of these three over the years. And I'm very glad at the opportunity to have them here with me so I can quiz them also along with quizzing you. Now, between these three, They bring 30 years of strong center experience supporting our teachers. And we are gathered today, of course, to launch the 10th edition of the CENTA International Teaching Professionals Olympiad and also help you register for this edition. But before we get into that, I'd love to take this opportunity to walk down memory lane. I mean, 10 years is a very strong milestone, and it's a very good time to reflect on where we came from, what our origin stories are. So I encourage all of you to please participate fully in this session. It will be a very interactive session. I will pose many questions to the three founding members of CENTA, but also to you, the audience. Please don't worry, I will not ask any questions out of syllabus. And I expect all of you to participate fully. So let's jump right into our first question and start right at the beginning of the CENTA International TPO, even before it was born. So, our dear audience members, welcome again. I can see members from various other parts of the world also joining. I can see a lot of teachers from Qatar here with us today. Welcome, all teachers. Audience, a question to you. Please type in the option A, B, C, or D. So, I will read out the question and I will give you four options. Where was the idea of the CENTA International Teaching Professionals Olympiad conceived? So remember, this is about the location where this idea was conceived. Is the answer A, at a cafe coffee day outlet in Bangalore? B, in CENTA's Bangalore office? C, on the way to CENTA Bangalore office? Or D, on a flight between Bangalore and Dubai? Can I request my colleague to please add this question in the chat? So I will repeat the options. Where was the idea of the CENTA International Teaching Professionals Olympiad conceived? Was it conceived at a cafe coffee day outlet, B, in CENTA's Bangalore office, C, on the way to the CENTA office, or D, on a flight between Bangalore and Dubai? So I can already see some teachers very quick on the button and answering A, which is at a cafe coffee day outlet. This seems to be the most popular answer so far. Encouraging more teachers to respond to this question, please. Great, we have some more options now as people are getting more diversified. We are seeing a few of the B, C's, and D's also in, with D proving a rather good second option, including B. So right now it seems like a tie between the Cafe Coffee Day outlet, CENTA's Bangalore office, or on the flight between Bangalore and Dubai. Great. So while more of you answer, let me actually come to the answer itself. The idea of the CENTA International TPO was actually conceived at a cafe coffee day outlet. This is in Bangalore itself. I will now bring in Ramya Venkatraman, Ms. Ramya Venkatraman, who's the founder and CEO of CENTA, to actually share the story of how the CENTA International Teaching Professionals Olympiad became a reality. So, ma'am, when did you first have this idea? When did it first come to mind? And what factors helped you convert this very novel idea into reality? Over to you, Ramya.
Yeah, thanks, Rahul, and once again, welcome to all the teachers from across the world who are with us today. I think Rahul was rapidly trying to read out some of the locations and countries, but I don't think we can keep pace with the diversity we are seeing in the chat box. So very glad to be with all of you. And let me quickly come to Rahul's question: where was the idea of international TPO born? So yes, as he said, it was at a cafe coffee day outlet, but incidentally not in Bangalore, Rahul. It was actually in Mumbai. It was a cafe coffee day outlet in Powai in Mumbai. And to give you a little bit of background to this, as Rahul mentioned, the purpose of starting CENTA was to make teaching a more aspirational profession. And when you think about teaching being aspirational, these are big words. How do you convert that into something concrete? What does aspirational look like on the ground? Now, the most important aspect of something being aspirational, a professional being aspirational, is that employers should give value to these professionals, to, in this case, to teachers. So, employers should reward great teachers, should provide career growth, should provide salary growth, etc. Whether these are, when I say employers, they are private schools, they are governments, they are edtechs. Teachers work with a range of different organizations. So, how do we get these organizations to see the value of great teachers and reward them in a differential manner? That is the question with which we started CENTA. And of course, that is a long journey. Now, in 10 years, we are seeing a lot of employers who are giving value to CENTA certified teachers in various different ways. But when we got started, that was not something that would happen automatically. So we said, how do we get this going? Like, how do we get teachers as well as employers motivated and make them feel that, yes, this is something that I should give value to? And that's where we felt that a very simple way to get this started would be a competition. Teachers are very familiar with the idea of a competition because you are constantly motivating your children to participate in various, inter-school competitions, inter-house competitions, etc. Schools are very familiar with that idea. So we said, okay, why not use the same idea and apply it to teachers and say, come and participate in a competition. And it's a competition where teachers will be rewarded, recognized, celebrated on a global stage. And that became International Teaching Professionals Olympiad. So that's how the idea was born. It was a long conversation in the Cafe Coffee Day that day. I think it was almost like a 5 or 6 hour conversation where we tried to see whether this idea really links to making teaching aspirational. And finally, I think we were convinced that, yes, it can be a very good starting point towards that. And that's how we decided to do it. And incidentally, for all those who said CENTA office or on the way to the office, there was no CENTA office at that time. CENTA office started like 6 to 8 months after that. So the idea of International Teaching Professionals Olympiad was born before CENTA office, was born before CENTA as an organization got registered.
Thank you so much, Ramya, for those insights. We keep hearing stories about how some of the world's greatest companies and ideas started off on post-it notes or tone papers somewhere in a cafe. And the CENTA International TPO is no different. Very, very glad to hear that story. And thank you for the correction on Powai, Mumbai. So the CENTA International TPO the idea was conceived at a Cafe Coffee Day in Mumbai. Staying with you, Ramya, can you also help us understand a little more about how the CENTA International TPO engages the ecosystem? See, institutions typically go to governments for funding for any such initiative, whether it's an Olympiad, whether it's a large scale competition. However, 16 state governments in India have actively encouraged participation from teachers in the International Teaching Professionals Olympiad. And most cases, we've not asked for funding. It's been a very organic way to drive engagement. How did the International Teaching Professionals Olympiad do it differently? How did you break that mold?
Sure, sure. And just before I answer that question, a quick note to the audience. I think we have had a great round of good evenings and good afternoons. And what I would now request the audience is to engage in the conversation. So as we are discussing this, if you come up with any questions or comments, anything that you want to share, please do so. And Rahul and all of us will try and address them as much as we can. So I think we can now move from the wishes to the discussion itself. So Rahul, coming to your question, and as you rightly said, international TPO engages the ecosystem in a very broad way, and there are multiple parts to that ecosystem. One, we were very lucky early on that several organizations, both within and outside India, started partnering with us on international TPO uh, right in the beginning, and these organizations decided to give prizes of various kinds to teachers. So, right from the beginning, we had, for example, the Hindu Media Group, Reliance Foundation, Oxford University and Oxford University Press, University of California, University of Buckingham, Lenovo, Dell, various organizations. And some of these organizations have continued as partners over the years, Central Square Foundation, etc. And so we've had various organizations, and each of them brought some interesting prize for teachers who won International Teaching Professionals Olympiad. And these prizes made international TPO aspirational very rapidly. And and teachers were able to uh, experience a range of different things by participating in this, whether it's an international exchange program or a training or being felicitated in a public event or being part of media, etc. In addition to, of course, the cash awards, which are naturally quite central to international TPO. So that became one important part of engaging the ecosystem. The second part of the ecosystem, which was also very supportive, was the school ecosystem. And again, as we had guessed, the idea of a competition appealed very nicely to school leaders. And I distinctly remember certain school leaders who said, before I ask any of my teachers to participate, I'm going to register and be the first one out there. So I remember, like, for example, Ms. Asha Narayanan from Lodha School, Mr. Ashok Pandey from Alcon. I remember Mr. Gopal Karunakaran from the Shivnadar group. I remember Mr. Minaj Arastu from Focus High. So these are some of the school leaders who said, before I ask any of my teachers, I'm going to be there and participate. It doesn't matter whether I win or don't win. It doesn't matter what I score, but I'm going to be the first one to get tested. And that was the other big support we got from the ecosystem. And third, of course, coming to governments. And as you said, there are some 16 state governments in India who have supported international TPO quite actively right from the beginning. And we've had some very interesting kinds of support. We don't go to these governments for any funding. We ask them to encourage teachers to participate, and they have done that in many different ways. So, for example, government of Uttar Pradesh gave a very interesting press release, and they did that in a in a very nice way of writing it. And overnight, we found that 1,000 teachers from Uttar Pradesh registered for international TPO once the press release was given. Government of Andhra Pradesh set up a sort of an informal mini competition among their districts where they said, let's have maximum participation from each district, and why don't you tell us which district is leading? And the district officers got so enthusiastic that they started calling us saying, can you give us a physical center close to my district, etc., etc. Government of Maharashtra announced state teacher awards linkage, where they said there will be points carried over from international TPO to the state teacher awards. So these are some examples where many of the governments across India have given active weightage to this. Interestingly, we are now finding some governments from the Middle East and Africa as well talking to us and wanting to partner on international TPO in a bigger way.
Lovely. It's quite interesting to realize how the school leaders actually took the first step, and they went in head first to say that, okay, this is a novel idea, let me actually test it out. And that's very good leadership right from the front. And I think that really helped teachers also take the step with the school leaders, and governments followed. So very, very interesting to hear that. Thank you so much, Ramya.
Yeah, in
Before I
fact,
move on,
on the chat, I'm just noticing that one more school leader, Eric Leo Asiyama from Ghana, has joined, who was again one of those who said, "I'm taking the first step to participate. I don't care whether I win or lose, but I'm taking the first step to participate."
lovely. Good evening, Mr. Eric. Welcome. Before I move on to the next aspect, I can see a lot of people asking questions around various topics. I'm very glad that we moved on from the good evenings to the real curiosity of teachers. I think there's some questions around when the results of the last edition will be announced. So the last edition results will be announced on the 18th of July. So all of you can remain rest assured that you will receive the results by the 18th of July. There were also some questions around the format of this year's TPO, which we'll come to shortly. I really like the fact that teachers are so eager to know about this because we're all business. Let's go ahead and learn more about how we can register, but we'll get there very shortly. There was one more question around how many countries have participated. We'll come to that in the next 5 minutes. So, the next question is for our audience again. Since our last question, welcome to all the folks from various parts of the world who've joined us. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning from wherever you've joined. So, the question is very India centric to begin with. The question goes like this: teachers from how many states and union territories in India have participated in the international TPO? So you can just write one number maybe as your answer in the comments. The question is: teachers from how many states and union territories in India have participated in the international TPO? Famina ma'am says 13 or 14. Ms. Ekta Sharma says 20. Waiting for most of our other teachers to also pitch in. Ms. Neha Agarwal mentions 15 states. Saroj Deepak says 21, and Ms. Vasudha Agarwal says 20. So right now it's in the range of around a 14 to 20 number. Okay, now we are seeing higher bids. So Ms. Nidhi says 32. Lovely. So I can see 38 as the highest number right now. So in the interest of time, I'll take this forward. Teachers from every single Indian state and union territory have been represented in the CENTA International TPO. Basically, we've had teachers from thousands of locations across every state and UT in India who have participated. Now, the international TPO started in India, and as we learned, there it sees participation from every part of India, every nook and corner of the country. Over the years, we've seen increasingly strong participation from a whole host of other countries across the world. So now let's move out of India to the rest of the world. Two questions to our audience on this front. The first question is: in which year? So you have to put in a year in the chat. In which year did CENTA TPO, International TPO, sorry, in which year did the CENTA TPO become the CENTA International TPO? So that's the first question. The second question is: teachers from how many countries have participated in the CENTA International TPO? So two questions. The first being: in which year did the CENTA TPO become the CENTA International TPO? And the second question is: teachers from how many countries have participated in the CENTA International TPO? Great. I can see answers like 36 countries, 26 countries. Famina ma'am says 2021 was the year when we moved or became international, so to say. 2021 seems to be a very popular choice of answer. I'm hoping for some surprises from our founding team on this front. Uh, Ms. Dokwala Somya says 130 countries. May your wishes come true, ma'am. May our wishes also come true on that front. Soon, one day, we should actually be covering 130 countries. 2020 and 21 seem to be still the most important or the most popular answers, at least. Great. So, I will now move to Mr. Karthik to help us with answers to these questions and to shed some more light on this entire space. So, Karthik, welcome. And for a lot of us on this in this audience who are familiar with Mr. Karthik Menon, he has been with CENTA right from the beginning. So he's celebrated 10 years with CENTA, and today marks his birthday also. So, warm wishes on your birthday, Karthik. Congratulations. Now, Karthik, if you could help us answer both of these questions, which year did CENTA TPO become the international TPO? And teachers from how many countries have participated? Also, can you help us with one more tidbit, which is which was the first country to participate in the CENTA International TPO? Over to you, Karthik.
Sure. Uh, Thanks a lot for that question, Rahul, and thanks a lot for your wishes as well. Uh, uh, Before us, I think the three questions that we have that we are supposed to answer here. One is, when did CENTA TPO become CENTA International TPO? The second one being, how many countries have participated in this CENTA International TPO thus far? And third, which country holds the distinction for being the first international country to be represented in the CENTA International TPO. And I was seeing, I was going through the chat, and it seems that 2021 seems to be a very popular choice amongst a lot of people. As a matter of fact, when we started off with the first two editions of the TPO itself, which was 2015 and 2016, we had lots of requests from teachers outside of India saying that we love what you're doing and we'd love to be a part of this, but TPO, we know you're only conducting the TPO within, a set of 7 cities in 2015 in India, and that became, I think it was 21 cities in 2016. But how do we become a part of it? And these teachers came from the likes of Bhutan, Mauritius, Singapore, and so forth. So by the time it was the third edition of the TPO in 2017, we knew that we had to do something about this. And actually that is the year that CENTA TPO became CENTA International TPO. So that's the 2017 is the year that CENTA TPO became CENTA International TPO, and we made that start by having a center in Dubai, and UAE, United Arab Emirates, became the first country other than India to be to have the distinction of its teachers participating in the CENTA International TPO, and this is where it gets even more interesting. In the first year itself, we had registrations from all the 7 Emirates of UAE. So UAE has 7 Emirates, and in the first year itself, we had registrations from all the 7 Emirates of UAE. So by the time it was 2017, we had done a complete clean sweep in India. We had registrations from every union territory, every state and union territory of India. And in 2017, when we went to our first international location, we had registrations from every emirate of the UAE as well. So that was really interesting. What it did was, in 2017, we just had one center in the UAE, that was in Dubai. But because the response was so good, by the time it was 2018, we decided that, okay, we need to have two centers now in the UAE to cater to the demand. So we added another center in Abu Dhabi. So that's how it happened. And by the time it was 2020, 2020 is when we went fully online. That really gave a lot of fillip to international participation in in the TPO, because it just completely tore away the barrier of teachers having to go to a physical center to take the TPO. It was fully online, and if my memory serves me right, we've had participation from 37 countries thus far in the CENTA International TPO. I saw a message, I think it was from Miss Varsha Agashe. I don't know if Varsha ma'am had 36 as the answer to the number of states and union territories represented in India, or it is the number of countries that CENTA International TPO has had representation from. But either way, ma'am, you've got that answer right. And I think Olatunji Precious was also close with a guess of, I think, 30. I think a lot of others have also responded in the similar range, but 38 countries is the correct answer. That's the number of That's the number of countries that we've had registration and participation in the CENTA International TPO for. Yeah.
Lovely. Thank you so much for that, Karthik. I mean, these are the insights that keep us so interested and excited about this event, how it started and how we pivoted from year to year. A very interesting point on, the barriers to entry being removed where teachers didn't have to travel to centers. I would also like to believe, though, that teachers would get a lot of excitement from going to a center and congregating with their peers over the years. But of course, it's a fine balance, and in some work, some of these approaches work for some teachers, some don't. Hopefully, in the future, we can again come back to that whole format. But right now, as you rightly said, yes, we did see a big breakout almost, where we saw participation from many other countries who couldn't have earlier participated. Thank you so much, Karthik.
And
Now, yes,
maybe
please,
just
Ramya.
maybe one more interruption from my side. Again, to request the audience, I'm sure Karthik is thrilled to get all your birthday wishes and really appreciate that. But at the same time, the chat gets a bit crowded with too many birthday messages. So would also request everyone to come back to the main discussion at hand. Thank you so much.
Thank you for that, Ramya. Great. So let's move from the origin of the CENTA TPO now to some changes in how CENTA approached this whole idea of teacher recognition. So from 2015 to 2019, CENTA primarily focused on teacher testing and certification, mainly assessments, etc., that were part of the CENTA International TPO. My next question is to Priyanka. So Priyanka, if you could please come in. What made CENTA actively invest in teacher learning in 2019? What was the rationale for launching the CENTA app, which focuses a lot on teacher learning? Yes, Priyanka, over to you.
Yeah. So what happened is that, as you rightly said, from 2015 to 2019, we were doing certification, we were doing teacher testing, teacher assessments, and lots of teachers were coming back to us saying, "Okay, I want to take CENTA TPO. How do I prepare?" Or they would say, "Okay, I have taken CENTA TPO," and we give a detailed scorecard or a report which tells you which areas you did well, which areas you can improve upon. So a lot of teachers were coming back to us saying, "Okay, where do I improve? How do I improve?" And our answers to many of these things were, there are multiple resources available on the internet. Please go find and learn. Over the years, we realized that that's not a good enough answers. These teachers are invested with us, are engaged with us. Our answer cannot be go and find on Google. So we thought that it'll be a good initiative from our side to put together a learning space, and a learning space where we put our own resources, but it need not be only CENTA's resources. So we partner with multiple organizations, for example, Tata Institute of Social Sciences, Oxford University Press. We work with multiple entities, reputed, well-established, etc., so that we can bring together multiple learning resources for the teachers. And that's how, since 2019, we started building together the CENTA app, which is where you see most of the interactions happening now.
Lovely. Thank you for that insight, Priyanka. On a related note, in which year was the CENTA app launch? And this is a question to all three of you, Ramya, Priyanka, and Karthik. In which year was the CENTA app
2019, as you
launched?
said, 2019.
2019, yeah.
It's July 30, 2019 to be precise.
Right, sorry.
Yeah.
Karthik,
We
of course,
should
is
depend
always
on
the
Karthik to be
precise.
precise.
Karthik is always the precise person. Timing of the launch, Karthik. When was it launched in July 30th?
I'm tempted to say 5:30 p.m., but I may be a bit off. Yeah.
Few minutes
So
off.
we'll go
Okay.
with 5:30 p.m. on the 30th of July 2019. That's how precise we can get. Excellent.
In fact, the 5-year anniversary of CENTA app is coming up very shortly in another 15 days.
Exactly. Great. So now let's staying with the CENTA app. The CENTA app now has a host of rich, extremely handy features for teachers, including the newly launched CENTA AI tool. Now, I'm not a teacher, but I've used this tool and I find it very interesting. This innovative tool actually gives teachers the ability to generate detailed lesson plans and classroom activities in just 5 clicks. However, it started, much earlier in a much simpler version. So, Karthik, can you help shed some light on the evolution of the app, both in terms of the features that it now has, and also some figures around its growth over the years? Over to you, Karthik.
Sure, Rahul. As I mentioned, July 30th, 2019 is when we first launched the CENTA app. And I've narrated the CENTA app story numerous times before, and it's one of those stories that I just don't get bored or tired of sharing. And now that CENTA International TPO is so much more closely connected with learning that happens on the CENTA app, and we'll get to that in a bit. I think it's a perfect time to reshare the CENTA app story. Uh, so it was in 2019 that we took the first concrete steps towards what was then called the My Center app. And as compared to 1.5 million teachers that are there on the app right now, 1.6 million teachers to be precise, the community was relatively smaller back then. So early 2019, it was somewhere around 60,000, 65,000 teachers, most of whom had taken up our assessments, one of our assessments. So one of the constant requests that we used to get at that time from teachers was a way to help them work on their areas of gap, which they were able to identify through CENTA's assessments, and also to generally upskill themselves. And that became, in some ways, the first building block of the CENTA app, which is micro-learning resources. And these micro-learning resources, which are linked to specific competencies, which are important in the classroom. And these competencies, in turn, are structured around the globally benchmarked CENTA standards. Since day one, our teacher community has been a massive fan of this. And every single month, over the course of the last 6 months, we average close to 1 million. And yeah, you heard that right, 1 million learning engagements each and every single month. So that's the traction that we get in the learning section on the CENTA app. Now, as teachers were learning and upskilling themselves, there was a very strong need for a linkage to teacher certification and micro-credentialing. And because teachers needed a way to showcase their competencies and also share it with their colleagues, their friends, their family, and most importantly, prospective employers and school authorities. So that was the next element that we introduced in the CENTA app. And over the last 3 years, we've added a layer of blockchain on top of it to ensure that the credentials that teachers receive are secure, they're easily accessible at all times, and most importantly, verifiable. So that was the next feature that we built in. Career opportunities came in quite naturally because more and more schools started giving weightage to credentials that teachers were receiving, and we also started connecting teachers to opportunities. So careers and the career section became the third pillar of the CENTA app. And today, as I said, we have 1.6 million teachers on the platform, and with its sheer volume, having a space for teachers to communicate with each other, to engage with each others, have discussions with each others, that became really important. So community, a space for teachers to communicate and collaborate became the next feature that we added on the platform in the form of a community space. So last year in August, we took what I would say a very significant step in our journey, which is we went native, which meant that the CENTA app is now available for download on both the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store. And in the last and since we went live on both these stores, we've had close to, or rather, a little over 450,000 downloads on the Google Play Store. So we've gotten a tremendous response from teachers across the world. And the CENTA app is also one of the highest rated education apps, by the way, on both the Play Stores with a rating of 4.7. And what has also happened is since August, almost every 2 or 3 weeks, we've added a new feature in the app. So we've revamped the community space fully. We've added gamification elements like daily streaks, challenges, leaderboards to make learning a more engaging and a more fun experience for our teachers. We've added a mechanism for teachers to track their learning efforts in as granular a manner as they would track the exercise hours or their sleeping hours on a health app. And as you said, most recently we've launched an AI tool to help teachers create lesson plans and activities in precisely 5 clicks. And we're nowhere close to hitting the pause button. We have a whole host of other similar exciting features lined up for you, and we're really excited for you to use those features. Let us know what you feel about it, and yeah, share it with friends, colleagues, teachers that are part of your circle, and spread the word. Yeah. So that was the journey of the CENTA app, or the CENTA app story in a nutshell.
Lovely. Thank you so much for that, Karthik. Your passion for this clearly shows in how you talk about it. And I really hope that our teachers across the world are also finding it useful. They're using these features because these features are not very complicated. These are things that you can use on a daily basis in your classroom. It's very simple to understand, and our entire purpose is to support you in your daily teaching practice. Now, we'll quickly shift gears again and move into come back to the competition from the app. So we took a slight detour just in the interest of giving a more wholesome picture of where we are. So we live in a constantly changing world. It's dynamic. Things keep improving, getting updated. Karthik just shared with us how the CENTA app has evolved over the years. Uh, I'm quite curious to understand if the same rules apply to competitions. Should they also keep changing, getting updated, etc.? So I'll again bring in Ramya to help us understand why the competition format for the international TPO change. What was the basis or the rationale behind this change?
Sure, Rahul. And I can see that some people on the chat already seem to have registered for international TPO and are familiar with the format. So they are asking next level detailed questions. So we will come to those questions also in a few minutes. But to start with, why are we changing the format? So this is of course not the first time we have changed the format. As we already saw, international TPO moved from a physical format across 75 cities to an online format, allowing teachers from everywhere in the world to participate. And the result of that is visible in today's webinar, where we have teachers joining, of course, from India, but also from Bangladesh, Philippines, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Nigeria, Ghana, the Qatar. These are just UAE, some of the countries which I quickly saw. So that was one change. Similarly, the other important change we had a couple of years back was to add to the multiple choice test, to add to that an international final, which will also have many practical exercises. And we are very glad that over the last couple of years, many teachers have got back to us saying that these practical exercises have allowed them to think about situations in their classroom in a very real manner, and reflect on their day-to-day practice. So the change that we are making this year for International TPO 2025 is an attempt to bring this one more step closer to your day-to-day life and day-to-day practice as a teacher. And as Priyanka said earlier, since 2019, we are not only testing teachers, but we are also trying to support teachers through the CENTA app, through the learning resources, through the tools, through the AI tools, etc., etc. Right? So trying to support teachers in a range of different ways. What we are trying to do through International TPO to 2025 is to bring all this together and say that the first stage is all about learning. So to participate in International TPO 2025, all you need to do is to get on to CENTA app and start learning. You can learn in a variety of ways depending on what you prefer. You can learn for a few minutes every day. You can say, no, I want to learn for for a longer duration at a stretch. You can learn through text, through audio, video. You can choose the topic you want to learn on. And that's the kind of ownership and pull for learning that we are already seeing on the CENTA app. So, as Karthik said, we have more than 1 million learning engagements every year. And we now want to give weightage to the teachers who are learning on a continuous basis. We don't want to say that, okay, the weightage is only for taking a test. The weightage is also for improving and upgrading yourself every day. So the first stage of International TPO 2025 is simply to get onto the app and keep learning. The other thing I want to mention about this format is that as our contribution back to this active community, we have made the first stage fully free for the in this 10th year. So as Rahul mentioned, we are in our 10th year of CENTA, 10th year of International TPO, and we have made first stage participation fully free this year. Karthik is also mentioning to me separately that the 1 million learning engagements is not every year, but every month. I think I said every year by mistake. We have 1 million learning engagements on the CENTA app every month. And we are trying to give weightage to that in International TPO 2025 through this new format where the first stage is entirely about learning. So that is the thought process behind this, Rahul. And the last thing I'll mention before handing back to you, as I said, we are trying to bring this closer to the teachers' day-to-day life and day-to-day practice. So this learning is not meant to be in isolation. The resources that we are trying to provide are things that you can use directly in your classroom every day. And we are hoping that with this format, participating in International TPO is fully aligned with what you need to do in your day-to-day life anyway. So there is a problem you are facing in your class and you're able to come to CENTA app and say, okay, how do I solve this problem? And you're able to get a quick resource and go back to your class and apply it. And meanwhile, by the way, you have earned a few learning points towards International TPO. So we want this alignment between your day-to-day life and International TPO, which is what this new format is all about. And Rahul, leave it to you to take that forward from here.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Ramya. Again, can't stress enough on the fact that this app, all the resources therein, the new format of the competition are all geared towards supporting you on your day-to-day classroom practice. Now that we've covered the why, let us quickly change gears again and move into the two main remaining points, which a lot of our audience members are quite curious about still. So we just have the what in terms of the what is the new format and the how do we register. So quickly bringing in Priyanka for this part to help us understand the new format itself. So what does it entail? What is the change, etc. And I'll also pull up a slide to take you through this part. Just give me 1 second, please. Priyanka, please start in the meantime.
Yeah, thank you, Rahul. So as Ramya and Rahul said,
and Priyanka, quick interruption. I think we have our first teachers joining from South America, from Paraguay. Welcome to them. I think we have been dominated by Asia and Africa so far, and welcome to the teachers from South America.
Great. So as I was saying, as Ramya and Rahul spoke about that, the first stage, which we would like you to register at the earliest possible, is all about learning the way you learn. There are many teachers who are anyways learning on the app, and we want to kind of streamline it and ensure that you get the weightage for whatever time you're spending in your learning and your professional growth towards CENTA International TPO. Hence, you would, whatever activities you are doing on the CENTA app, beginning now till 31st of October 2024, which is the end of current stage or the first stage of the International TPO, you would accumulate various learning points. Rahul, if you can just put together the slide up. So while Rahul is putting the slide up, okay, slide is there. I hope you all can see the slide on your screen. There are various activities, and when you do these activities, you will accumulate the points. And as Ramya said, These are not some artificial activities. These are the activities which you would want when you want to learn, which you will do when you want to learn. For example, if you're attempting a daily question, you will be able to get 2 points. If you get that quiz right, the daily quiz, you will get 10 points. If you read a particular learning resource, say a short learning resource of 5 minutes, you will get 10 points. But for example, if you read a longer learning resource or are engaged in watching or viewing or engaging a CENTalk webinar, you would be acquiring more points. If you are engaging with other community members, right, like if you're commenting on a post, you are sharing a post, you are writing a post, you will be able to get points for that also, so that it ensures that you're engaging with your colleagues across the world, etc. So the activities for which we are giving you points for stage 1 are the regular activities of part and parcel of your engagement on the CENTA app any which choice. And what we are saying, beginning now till 31st of October, which is the deadline for stage 1, you need to accumulate or earn 1,000 learning points by doing various activities which are mentioned in this particular table. And everyone who acquires 1,000 learning points during this period will be shortlisted and invited for regional finals. So, as Ramya said, as our contribution to all of you, we are making the first stage very, very learning focused, so that whatever you do on a regular basis get counted and are making it completely free. All you need to do is get to CENTA app and register yourself for TPO now. And Karthik will shortly take you through how easy it is to do so that you can register now and start on this journey. Over to you, Rahul.
And I also want to emphasize that while we have a table, and some of you have mentioned on chat that you are not able to see it clearly, it's also available on the app. So, not to worry, you don't need to copy it or anything. But while we have a table which says so many points for so many things, that is because it is a competition. And in a competition, one always needs to define the rules in a certain way. One needs to define how many points you get for what. But the crux of this is that if you are in general engaged on your learning on a regular basis, securing 1,000 points will not be difficult within the timeline, which is up to 31st of October. So we have kept the activities and points in such a manner that we are not expecting people to be spending large amounts of time, which we know that teachers don't have, but we are expecting people to engage in their own learning and use things for their own classroom on an ongoing basis. So so as you get into the details, you will find that per se, 1,000 points is not very difficult to earn by 31st October, as long as you are engaged. And there'll be a wide range of options in terms of what kind of resources, etc. And in fact, Priyanka is just clarifying that if you really look at the number of hours you need to spend, it would be just about 5 hours or so up to October 31st, which naturally is a minimum amount of time a teacher should engage on in their own learning.
Thank you so much for that, Priyanka and Ramya. Now coming to the crux of it all, which is the how. How can I register for the CENTA International TPO, the 10th edition of this competition? So Karthik, over to you to help us get started to how I can register.
And sorry, there is one more very important question on the chat, which I think is worth answering, which is there is the first stage. You are not being measured relatively. Everyone who crosses 1,000 points will qualify for the regional finals. So everyone who crosses 1,000 points can be part of the regional finals and will qualify for the regional finals. So the relative competition is starting after that. As long as you cross 1,000 points, you will be part of the regional finals. And thanks for pointing that out, Subhash. Yeah.
Sure. Now, getting to the how do I register for the CENTA International TPO. I hope my screen is visible. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to mirror my app's screen to show you the steps that you could follow to register for the CENTA International TPO. I think our colleagues have shared the links to download the CENTA app in the chat section. Team, will be great if you could share the link again. You could either get the CENTA app directly from the link, or you could also go to the Play Store or App Store and just type in CENTA. You'll see the CENTA for Teachers app pop up in your search results, and you can click on the CENTA app, the first result that you see, download the app if you already haven't, and then sign in or sign up. And there are a multitude of different ways through which you could sign in or sign up. I'm not going to go into the details of that. But you could use a sign in via Google, or sign in via your Apple ID, or sign in via your Facebook account, or sign in via an OTP on your email address, or in case you're from India, you could also sign in via an OTP on your mobile number. So there are quite a few options to sign up or sign in. So once you're signed in to the app, this is what you will see. You'll see a home screen that looks something similar to this. You will have a set of banners that are moving. You will see trending searches, what's happening inside the app, what are your fellow teachers searching for. You'll see a recommended section. You will see a quiz section, and you'll see a survey section. So I won't get into the app, the different sections of the app into detail right now. We'll cover that another day. But what I will do is I will click on this banner, the third banner in the sequence, or rather the second banner in the sequence, which says Stage 1 Learning Expedition. So I'll click on that banner, and the moment I click on that banner, I'll be seeing a screen which looks something like this. So it'll have your name, it'll have your email address, it'll have a space for you to enter your mobile number in case you already haven't shared that during the sign up or the sign in process, and it'll have a button saying register for free. So the points that Ramya and Priyanka covered, all of them are also listed down here. So this is the registration process for the first stage of International TPO 2025. It's completely free. All you need to do is pick your choice of topics and resources from the CENTA app after you've registered. You need to spend a few minutes every day on learning and stack up your learning points. Participants who earn 1,000 learning points get shortlisted for the regional finals. And they are not only getting shortlisted, but they're also getting a qualified digital badge as well. So I will put in a number here, and let's just, I'm just gonna click on the register for free button, and that's it. The registration is done. It's that simple. So all you need to do is click on the banner that you see on the home page. Once you get to the banner, you'll see a short form. You just click on the register for free button, and you are enrolled for free into the first stage of the CENTA International TPO 2025. In case you feel that, and let me actually do this. Let me, pause for a couple of minutes and see, who all are registering while we are in the session. I'm actually also keeping a close tab on our backend.
Yeah, I would love to see all of you register right now. As Karthik showed, it's very simple, straightforward. Why don't you just go to the CENTA app or CENTA on website, on CENTA web page, and just register right now.
Yeah. And in case you feel that the app is going to take some time for you to download, we've got you covered. So I'm also going to post the link to our website, where you can again register for the CENTA International TPO. Exact same manner, just a click of the button. Yeah. Famina ma'am, already done. Thank you so much. Angelica ma'am has also registered. Thank you so much, ma'am. And Angelica ma'am, I think, also had posted a message a few minutes back saying that she's been a big supporter of CENTA in her country since 2021. Thank you so much for that, ma'am. And I can see our registration ticker in our backend DB going up significantly. Of course, I'm not going to take names till you post it here yourself, but I can see a lot of you have already registered. Oh, registered yesterday. Great. Thank you so much, Isaiah sir.
And as Karthik said, we are very particular about the confidentiality of our participants right from the first year. If you are a winner, we announce it to the whole world. If you're not a winner, it's entirely up to you whether you want to tell people that you participated or you don't want to tell people. So so we maintain that confidentiality very strictly.
Yeah, I can see a bunch of new registrations coming in our DB. Great. Ashima ma'am, you'll get the feedback form shortly. Sharmila ma'am, thank you so much. Sharmila ma'am says that she's already registered. Great. So let's, in the interest of time, Suman Sharma ma'am, thank you so much. So in the interest of time, I'll move on to how you can track your points towards the threshold of 1,000 points that you need to qualify for the regional finals of International TPO. But just before that, as you can see, immediately after you've registered, you'll see a unique code on your screen. I mean, all of us believe in good karma. So, and you'll get a lot of good karma if you share TPO with your friends and colleagues and make them a part of the of this global initiative as well. So all you need to do is click on the share button. You'll see, or you'll get a whole host of options regarding the platform that you would want to share your referral code with. You can simply click on that, choose the platform, share it with your friends and colleagues. And for every friend or colleague that registers with your unique referral link, you'll get 20 referral points. So just keep an eye on that as well. Tripta Devi, ma'am, thank you so much. So Subhash sir is saying that he's already earning good karma. So I think he's referred a bunch of his friends and colleagues. Sunita ma'am is registered. Tripta Devi ma'am is registered. Dokla Soumya ma'am has registered. Great. So now we'll get to the points.
And I just want to add here that as an organization, we are very particular that this community is driven and grown by teachers more and more as we move forward. So CENTA plays a facilitating role. We have started this community. We will continue to support it. But we want this community to be taken forward and owned by the profession, by teachers, and getting your immediate circle, whether it's people from your school, people from your town, village, country, to be part of the community, is how this movement will take root across the world. Ultimately, teaching is a huge profession with 100 million teachers globally and probably another 30-50 million teachers getting added in the next several years. But in spite of being such a huge profession, it's a somewhat lonely profession where, when you are standing alone in your class as the only adult, you are wondering, what's my support system? And naturally, your school is one immediate support system. But we are also hoping that CENTA community is the other global support system that you can be part of, and you can make it a support for everyone around you. So this way of referring others, getting them onto the community, contributing back to the community with your reflections, your learnings, these are all things that we want to have almost as a daily habit.
I think I saw a comment. I think it was from Ms. Vasudha Agarwal, and Vasudha ma'am was saying that she's not able to see the slide clearly, and she wanted to know what activities contribute to how many points. So Vasudha ma'am, on the screen, you will see there are two parts to the screen. one part is earned points. So this will have a summation of all the points that you've earned from different activities, and then a detailed ledger or history of when did you earn those points and through which activity. And at any point in time, if you are curious about what activities lead to what points, all you need to do is click on this question mark. That's it. And when you click on the question mark, you'll see a table which has a detailed split of the activities that you need to be doing to earn the points towards TPO qualification. So opening the CENTA app daily, it will give you 2 points. Attempting a quiz question will give you 2 points. Attempting the question correctly will give you 10 points. Making a post in the community space will give you 20 points. Adding a comment will give you 5 points. As Ramya was saying, it's not just about your own personal growth; it's also about helping others while you are on the app. So there are points for that. Sharing a post will give you 10 points. Completing a learning resource, depending on how big or small the learning resource is, will give you a set of points, and so forth. So there are a bunch of different activities that you can do to earn these points. And I think Ramya has also mentioned this in a comment. There is no compulsion to buy a paid learning resource to be able to get to those 1,000 points. There are, I think, at the last point time of counting, there were close to 650 learning resources on the CENTA app currently that you can go through to earn, and they're completely free of cost. So you can look up any of those resources, go through those resources, complete those resources, and you can easily get the 1,000 points that you require to qualify for the regional finals. Ankita ma'am, yes, if you try doing it now, you'll go out of the session, so you can watch the session recording later and go through the parts that you missed out. But we'll quickly go through. We'll try a couple of activities right now, which will give us the points. So let's say attempt a quiz question, and let's see if you can get this question right. So all you need to do is go to the home page and go to the section called "Can you get this question? Can you get these questions right?" So you can click on the start button, and it will open up the question that's available for the day. So this question is: the distance between Earth and Mars is 225 million kilometers. There is a rocket being designed that must reach Mars in 1.5 months. Which of these steps would help in calculating the speed of the rocket? So that's the question. Of course, this is a question from physics. We have a bunch of questions that from every single subject. And so today you might be seeing a science question. Tomorrow this will be a question from English. Day after it could be a question from math. There are questions from history. So we try to make it as broad-based as possible. So let's try answering this question. So I'm going to go with option C. Yeah, and as you can see, I got the question right. I've gotten the points for answering both answering the question as well as attempting the question. So if I go to my points section, I should see more points there. So as you can see, I had 2 points, but because I answered the question correctly, I got an additional 10 points. Now I have 12 points. So the next one is let's just try posting something in the community, and let's see how much or how many points does that give us. So let's say I want to post a question in the community. How do I go about increasing student participation in my classroom? Let's pose that as a question. And I've just, of course, posted a plain text question. You can add emojis, you can add images to your question, you can add a PDF, you can, copy a link from outside and paste it inside the app. So you can do all of those things. I'm just, posting a simple text question here. So I've added a post in the community. And as you can see, I've gotten 20 points. So my qualification journey has gotten a boost, and now I have 32 points towards qualifying, towards the journey of 1,000 points that I need to complete to be able to qualify for the regional finals. So as you can see, I'm not going to go into, and okay, now while we are at it, we'll also just complete a learning resource and see how many points does that give us. So I'm going to go to micro resources. I'm going to access a learning resource, and I'm going to try and complete that and see how many points does that give me. So I've gone to a resource which is it says need for effective lesson plans. I can go through the resource, I can read through it, and once I've read the resource, all I need to do is mark it as complete. After I've marked it as completed, I will get points for completing that learning resource as well. So as we mentioned earlier, there are a bunch of different activities that you can do in the CENTA app. You can answer quizzes, take up quizzes, go through learning resources, participate in community discussions, help each share knowledge, help answer each other's queries, go through learning resources. So you can do all of those activities in the app and get rewarded for it, and ultimately qualify for the regional finals. So that answers the how of the how of how you could go about registering yourself, which, as we saw, is a single click process. All you need to do is click on the banner, fill up your details. In case they're not already filled in, click on the register button. After you've done, you're all set to start on your learning. I think we're calling it learning expedition, right? This stage is called the learning expedition, and I mean it is what that's what it is. You're all set on your expedition, and engage on the app, and we're sure that we'll see thousands of you qualify for the regional finals by engaging on the app just for a few minutes every day. So yeah, so that's what it is. Yeah.
I just want to add two, three things based on some of the questions I'm seeing on the chat. So one is that there are enough free resources available, and therefore you can get your entire 1,000 points, and in fact much more than that, by using only the free resources. So there is no additional weightage or benefit for using a paid resource. Obviously, if you like a paid resource and you're buying it, that's entirely up to you. But the points are independent of that, and you will be able to earn them entirely through the free resources, because we genuinely intend to keep this first stage of learning expedition absolutely free for teachers as part of our 10th year contribution. So that's one thing I want to specifically clarify. The other thing somebody asked is, out of all the activities mentioned by Priyanka and Karthik, do they need to engage on all the activities, or can they engage on any combination? You can engage on any combination based on what works for your learning journey. However, there is one compulsory activity, which is completing your profile. And that is compulsory because in international TPO, there are certain categories, I mean regions, of course, because we have regional finals, there are subject categories, etc. So it's important for us to have basic profile information about you for your participation. So completing your profile is compulsory, but all the other activities are optional in terms of what combination you prefer for your learning journey. The other thing I also want to mention is, in a learning based expedition, there are always certain risks that we run as organizers, and therefore from time to time there will be certain checks on this, which means that your community engagement is expected to be professional in nature. So we are not expecting any kind of personal posts, anything that could be offensive to any other member, anything that is political or religious in nature. So these are expected to be professional posts. These are expected to be questions to the community on challenges you're facing in the classroom, or reflections with the community on what you have seen in your own classroom, in your own journey as a teacher. And where we see deviations from this, there will be calls that we will have to take as an organization. Similarly, when you go to a learning resource, we are expecting you to spend time in engaging on that learning resource. And from time to time, you will find certain checkpoints in that learning resource where you may need to answer a particular question, or provide some input to display that you have engaged. So these are certain checks that you will see as you go through this journey, whereas an organization, and I will go back to a point that somebody mentioned, actually 2 3 people have mentioned this on the chat, which is that we are ultimately trying to build this habit of learning and professional engagement, which is important in any profession, and needless to say, it's very important in teaching. So we are essentially trying to build this habit through this learning expedition, and we hope you enjoy it and engage on it. 1,000 points will get by even before you realize it, but we hope that this is only the starting point of a lifetime learning journey.
Thank you so much for all the detailed inputs, Priyanka, Karthik, and Ramya. It has been an absolute pleasure hosting you and hosting all our teachers from India and across the world in this session. It's very encouraging to see so many teachers participating, registering already while we're on this session, and we hope that trend continues. Teaching can be teaching is a very noble profession, yes, but it can also be a very lonely profession, as Ramya mentioned, because you're there in your classrooms all alone trying to encourage and teach the next generation. It can be a daunting and pressure filled job. Please remember that we at CENTA will always be there by the sidelines rooting for you and your success, so that you have it a little easier in your growth journey, so that you are rewarded and recognized for your efforts and all the progress you make. I know we can't hear you clap, but the 4 of us will clap for you. And I strongly recommend all of you, please clap for yourselves, because you are the pioneers, you are the teachers who are taking these very courageous steps to actually test yourselves, to put yourselves out there and to learn, which is not very strongly associated, at least I didn't associate it earlier with the teaching profession. Teaching was all about teaching. What about the learning? A big round of applause to all our teachers here and everywhere around the world. You can maybe put in the clap emoji in this chat to show your appreciation for yourself, of course, and for all your other colleagues around the world. With that, we'll sign off for this session. I'll request my colleague to please share the feedback form in case it's not been done already, so that teachers who participated in this session can share their feedback. And with that, we wish you a very good morning, afternoon, evening, or night, whichever part of the world you're in. And all the best for your learning journey going forward. Thank you so much, our panelists also, Ramya, Priyanka, and Karthik. Wish everybody a great day.
Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
And you will also find the link of this session in the CENTA app. So feel free to go through it again if you have doubts, or share it with your fellow teachers who could not attend live.
Thank you. Looking forward to see your registrations.
Thank you.